Okay, let's dive into this. Today, we're unpacking an explainer on the next 10 years of human connection. Or, well, at least the incredibly ambitious version of it that's currently being engineered over at Meta.
Right, and let's be super clear right up front. We are not just talking about a cool new pair of smart glasses or some random software update. We're analyzing a fundamental rewiring of how human beings actually interact with physical reality. And honestly, there are some deeply unsettling philosophical stakes hidden right beneath the surface of this 10-year corporate vision.
Because to really understand exactly where Meta is trying to go, you first have to look at what society has already lost. Think about this. Over the last 20 years, the amount of time American adults spend socializing in person has dropped by nearly 30%. And for kids, for the youth, that drop is closer to a staggering 70%. The average person literally has fewer friends today than they did just 15 years ago. We are living through a very jarring, very real epidemic of human isolation. Exactly. But see, Mark Zuckerberg looks at that exact same data, and he sees an engineering problem. He argues that technology didn't necessarily cause this isolation. Instead, he thinks the current technological construct just isn't powerful enough to meet our innate biological demand to socialize. So Meta fundamentally believes that their upcoming augmented reality tech is the actual solution to this profound loneliness. They want to bridge the physical gap when we just simply can't be in the same room together. And this is exactly why Meta believes the smartphone is essentially dying. Think about it. Phones are fundamentally unnatural, right? They pull your attention downward, isolating you into this tiny little screen completely away from the real world. AR glasses, like Meta's new Orion prototype, represent a totally new computing paradigm for the 2030s. Instead of reacting to an isolated screen in your pocket, glasses are proactive. You wear them on your face, and they continuously share your physical context. They see exactly what you see, and they hear exactly what you hear. Okay, wait, I have to jump in here and interrupt the optimism for a second, because that shift comes with a massive, massive hidden trade-off. For an AI agent to be perfectly personalized and proactive like that, it has to become an invisible, continuous observer of your entire physical life. So we have to ask the hard question. Do we actually cure our isolation by inviting an algorithm to watch and analyze every waking second of our reality? Or do we just end up surrendering our independent, unmonitored human existence in exchange for ultimate convenience?
Which brings us to Section 1, the illusion of presence.
Let's really get into the psychological shift Meta is banking on to make this whole future palatable. They are aggressively chasing the holy grail of digital interaction, which is a concept they call presence. It's that visceral, undeniable feeling that you're actually sharing physical space with someone, even if they're 1,000 miles away. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer technical wizardry they're attempting. They're cramming a decade of R&D into everyday frames that are literally just 5 millimeters thick. We're talking holographic waveguides etched at the nano level, zero latency spatial mapping, continuous eye tracking, photorealistic avatars, the whole shebang. It is a breathtaking feat of engineering designed entirely to trick your brain into believing a digital hologram is physical reality. Yeah, but here's the catch. Despite all the processing power in the world, that illusion is incredibly fragile. Any one thing done wrong, a slight lag, weird physics, a dropped frame, and that sense of presence completely shatters. And frankly, our ancient ape brains still crave something that digital haptics cannot truly replicate. We crave the warmth of physical touch. We miss hugging our parents, you know? You can program a wearable controller to buzz when a virtual ping pong ball hits it, sure, but you absolutely cannot code the visceral weight of human contact. Fair point. Physical touch is absolutely the final hurdle. But if they perfect the visual and the auditory illusion, the friction of geographic distance entirely vanishes. You could seamlessly hang out with anyone, anywhere in the world, in an instant. But doesn't that beg the question, if substituting physical reality with seamless digital avatars becomes perfectly frictionless, does physical reality just lose its unique value? Like, are we actually deepening human connection here, or are we just cheapening reality by turning the physical world into another app? All right, moving on to Section 2, the end of struggle. Because beyond just the holograms and hardware, Meta is heavily integrating personalized AI into our daily lives, specifically to remove the friction of human interaction. Imagine this. You feel a really complex emotion, but you just can't quite find the right words. You can literally ask your Meta AI to articulate it for you, and then you just send that perfectly crafted sentiment to a loved one. Or think about universal AI translation, speaking to anyone in any language in real time. Meta frames this as this incredible, empowering tool that effortlessly removes the language and emotional barriers that are keeping us apart. See, I'd actually argue that removing that exact friction is exactly where the danger lies. Think about what we might call the human capability muscle. That's the mental fortitude, the empathy, the self-awareness that we develop specifically through the natural friction of struggling to communicate and problem solve. It's like a workout for your soul. If you just outsource your emotional articulation to an algorithm, those vital human muscles are going to begin to atrophy. It is a fascinating dilemma. When the struggle of learning a new language, or just finding the right words to say I'm sorry, is fully automated,
Exactly. Does the meaning disappear too? If the person receiving it knows an AI perfectly wrote your apology, does it carry the same human weight? No way. We really have to wonder if the very difficulty of connecting with others is actually what makes the connection meaningful in the first place.
let's shift gears to Section 3, Algorithms as the Creator. So, Meta's vision also drastically alters the future of your social media feed. We've talked about the hardware and the personal AI, but these platforms will soon be heavily populated by generative AI. Zuckerberg envisions this wild world where creators don't just post content anymore, they actually build AI clones of themselves. He calls it an AI artifact or an interactive sculpture. The idea is that because top creators have limited time but unlimited fan demand, they can just train an AI version of themselves to interact with millions of followers simultaneously. It solves the scaling problem, which leads to a deeply unsettling second-order effect for our whole society. Think about the trajectory here. Social media started as a place for genuine human interaction. Then, it became a broadcast platform for human creators. Now, we're transitioning into a space of purely algorithmically generated entertainment. Are we literally replacing authentic parasocial relationships with interactive sculptures? Very soon, you'll just be talking to a chatbot wearing the digital face of your favorite creator, completely and entirely detached from human reality. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 4, Building an Open Empire. To make all of these virtual and AI systems work seamlessly, Meta isn't just coding software. They are executing massive physical, geopolitical infrastructure moves. The sheer scale of their hardware and network investments right now is staggering. In 2024, they open-sourced their Frontier Llama AI model. By 2025, they're projected to build a $10 billion private subsea internet backbone, this 40,000-kilometer W cable, routing around high-risk geopolitical zones just to secure their data flow. All of this physical pipe is laying the exact groundwork for their projected commercial AR glasses launch in 2027. And a core pillar of this new empire is open-source AI. Zuckerberg actually recently released a manifesto explaining why giving their Llama AI models away for free is far superior to closed systems. He argues it leverages global developer scrutiny to make the models safer, it secures data locally for customized AI agents, and crucially, it establishes Meta's tech as the global industry standard, which prevents lock-in from massive rivals like Apple and Google. Okay, but we really have to question the corporate incentives here, right? Meta's business isn't selling AI access. Their business is keeping you inside their ecosystem to view ads. By democratizing AI and giving it away for free, Meta is effectively commoditizing the very intelligence their rivals are trying to sell. So is open source truly a democratic gift to the world, or is it just a brilliantly weaponized moat designed entirely to break the monopoly of rival app stores that have historically constrained Meta's power? Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, the trillion-dollar gamble. The infrastructural and financial risks underpinning this entire utopian vision are honestly borderline apocalyptic. Meta is placing a massive, massive bet that AI transformer models will just scale infinitely. And hey, if they do, we get infinite contextual understanding, perfectly personalized agents, and totally seamless AR integration into our daily lives.
Yeah, but what if progress suddenly hits an asymptote? What if AI just plateaus? Meta is spending hundreds of billions on compute and data centers right now. If the technology stalls out, they are left with stranded billions, massive empty data centers, and a completely failed technological paradigm.
It truly is an arms race to connect human minds to machines. While Elon Musk's Neuralink is testing literal, surgically implanted brain chips in pigs and humans just to keep up with AI, Meta's approach with AR glasses represents a much more palatable, non-invasive path. Yet, just by sitting on your face, reading your eye movements, and capturing neural wrist signals, it achieves an equally pervasive integration with the machine world. And to own this non-invasive path, Meta's Reality Labs has already incurred a staggering $80 billion in total financial losses to date. So the crucial point is this.
This isn't just a standard corporate R&D budget. This is an unprecedented, historic gamble on forcefully shifting the entire direction of human behavior.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question. As Meta builds out the subsea cables, the massive data centers, the generative algorithms, and the AR glasses that will soon seamlessly mediate our every waking moment, are we truly building a more connected world, or are we engineering the ultimate architecture of human isolation, where reality is just another app and authentic humanity is entirely outsourced to a machine? It is the defining question of our next 10 years, and you're going to have to decide for yourself.